It's also not good when you do these kinds of poses in yoga. So you have to be very, very careful when you involve yourself in these kinds of practices, because very often the people who are teaching them to you, while they mean well, they're not taking some of these dangers into account. Who's ever heard of balance training? Or who's ever had a physical therapist or a trainer make them do balance type exercises? All the way back there. That's a lot of people. Okay. And, well, the thing about balance is this. There is no such thing as balance. Now, you go to a doctor, an ENT, if there's something wrong with your cochlea or something wrong with the mechanisms within your ear, then yes, you can lose your balance and fall. But assuming everything's A-okay, there is no such thing as a balance. In other words, someone who walks a tightrope is not necessarily going to be good at walking a balance beam. Someone who stands on top of a BAPS board, you know what that is, a wobble board that they give you in physical therapy to increase your neuromuscular facilitation, all that's going to do is get you good at working on the BAPS board. It's not going to transfer to any skill outside in the real world. It's a specific adaptation to an imposed demand. Now look here. If you were to ask me, hey Fred, can you come up with an exercise that would hurt someone the most? This is what I'd say. I mean, just take a look at that for a second. Trainers do this with their clients today because balance training has become a huge modality in exercise. People do this with people all the time. I won't try this at home now. Well, I guess we have no sound. Or maybe the volume. It's not my computer, so I can't figure it out. Oh. Imagine if that was concrete or the gym floor. So balance training, for the most part, if you slip and you fall, can get you injured.
Front left.
Front left.
Okay.
Oh, well. Play it again.
Still not volume.
No sound. All right, well. Oh, I thought I heard something there. Well, we'll just watch it again for fun, shall we? No. No. Oh, all right, no sound. Well, that's too bad, but that's okay. So again, balance training, if you do this, if your trainer says or suggests that you do this, smile, say thank you, and walk away. Sometimes, like you saw with the guy on the using the barbell, sometimes it gets you stronger, but it's not the balance training itself that's getting you stronger. It's the other things that you're doing while you're balance training that actually get you stronger. So if you just remove the balance part of it and just get yourself stronger, that's the way to go. Now, who's heard of plyometrics? Okay. Now, plyometrics is a type of training where you do all kinds of leaps and bounds and jumps over boxes. This guy's jumping over this bench machine and in his bare feet. So the idea behind plyometrics is that, well, you know, Fred, while lifting weights the way you do it slow, build some slow strength. If you do plyometrics, it'll build explosive strength, again, so you can jump out of the way of the car or run away from the dog. But what you're actually doing is, in the process of making yourself stronger, that's taking it to an extreme. If the sound was on, that would have been crazy. So what does it do? When you do plyometric training, jumps and things of this nature, you're just making your muscles stronger, but not exactly in the safest way possible. Now, who's heard of kettlebells? Probably a lot of people. And who does kettlebell training? I'll bet you, well, a few. Okay, but what are kettlebells? Kettlebells really are just dumbbells with a handle on the top. And so, what does that represent when you're exercising? It represents a form of resistance, which is going to make you stronger. And this is an old quote that I found, and I agree with this quote 100%. It really doesn't make any difference what tool you use. The most important thing is that you're doing something to pit your muscles against a resistance that will stimulate a positive tissue adaptation. And what I mean by that is giving you more muscle, making your muscle stronger. All right, so this is a big myth I hear all the time in my gym, that muscles can turn into fat. So this is a picture of 5 pounds of fat and 5 pounds of muscle. And early on, we were talking about not caring about the scale. Valerie was telling us that the scale doesn't make any difference. And in my gym, and she's very right, in a lot of ways, it doesn't make any difference what you weigh, because if I strength train you and I make you 5 to 10 pounds of muscle heavier, and you lose 5 to 10 pounds of fat, what do you weigh? The same. So what you're really looking to do is to transform your body. So if you stop resistance training, what you'll do is start to lose that muscle tissue, which will lower your metabolic rate somewhat. And if you continue to eat the way you're eating, you'll wind up getting fatter. So your muscle hasn't turned to fat. You've just lost muscle and gotten fatter. And that's the fact, Jack. All right. So the other thing is that if you lift weights but you don't stretch, you're going to be tight and muscle bound. Now, there never was any evidence that that's true. It isn't true. In fact, if you strength train properly, research is pretty clear that you're going to enhance your joint flexibility, not hinder it. These are some of the most muscular people on earth, and they're also some of the most flexible people on earth. And who wants to take a guess at who from the Olympic athletes, which Olympic athletes were the second most flexible of all? Gymnasts being first, no question. Weightlifters. So again, what do well-developed muscles do for you? They make you more flexible, enduring, and stronger. Thank you. Well, another myth is that aerobic exercise. Now, who here does aerobics? I want to pick on somebody. All right, Monique, but why do you do it?
I enjoy it.
You enjoy it. Any other reason why?
I enjoy it.
Ah. So most people do it because, well, many people do it because they enjoy it, but they also do it because they think they need to do it in order to strengthen their heart and their lungs. So for example, you'll have somebody, let's say an older person who walks 3 or 4 blocks and they're completely out of breath. Then they decide, oh, wow, my heart, my lungs are weak. I better start doing some aerobics and strengthen my heart and my lungs. And lo and behold, 6 months later, they're walking 3 miles and it's not even a problem. So they assume that what they've done is that they've improved their heart and they've improved their lungs. Fact of the matter is you can't take your heart out of your body and put it on a treadmill, right? Your heart is attached to something, right? It's attached to your body, which is attached to your legs, your arms. And so what actually is happening is that when you engage in exercise, whether it's aerobic exercise or whether it's strength training exercise, what you're doing is you're improving your intramuscular mitochondria. So you see the slide on the left shows you like a little picture of what a mitochondrion is, and they're like energy-producing powerhouses, cell houses of power. On the right-hand side, you see muscle fiber, then you see myofibrils, which are the little fibers inside the big fiber, and within those, you see the mitochondria. I think you can, if my pointer works, see it right in there, the mitochondria? So when you exercise, you're proliferating, increasing the total number of mitochondria within your muscles. That's the reason why you can walk further or run further. So it has virtually nothing to do with any change to your heart and lungs. It has virtually everything to do with the improvements that you're making inside the muscle itself.